All right, everybody. It is, let's see, it is 10:07 p.m. Eastern Time, and we are looking at another tropical system approaching Hawaii. Pretty remarkable, right? Get going here in just 1 second. And I'll show you what the latest is on that. Look at a live cam. All kinds of good, fun stuff on this Friday night. Plus, we'll look around the country. We'll show you what you can expect as we get into the weekend. All right. This is Tropical Storm Moki. Okay. There's Hawaii right there. Right now, it's a 46-mile-per-hour sustained wind. That's a tropical storm, and you can see these TSs along the cone. That is the forecast path. Now, it is forecast to stay to the south of Hawaii, but the southern tip of the Big Island, it just got walloped this last weekend on Saturday, is only 150 miles away, something like that. I do want to show you this, though. Check this out. This is really cool. I'm going to go to the geo color. Let's go to the goes east. Look at that. Look at that. Goes west, sorry. Let's go to the Central Pacific, and let me put this into motion. I mean, how beautiful is this radar shot, or this satellite shot, rather. And what we're looking at here, let me clear this off the screen. Of course, you got the islands of Hawaii right here. There's Hilo. Looks like a little eddy spinning off there, which is cool. There's Honolulu. Got a few clouds over top. There's Kauai. Wettest place on Earth right there, Mount Waialeale, right in the middle, where it rains practically every single day there. Pretty quiet, but what I love about this shot, this is a picture from space, essentially. Many pictures taken over and over. And just look at the detail of it. You can see out over here where the sun is still up, but then it starts getting dark on this side, and that is where the sun has already set. And you can actually see, or at least is getting lower. You can see that darker line coming through here. But here is Tropical Storm Moki. Looks like we got some convective cells in the middle of it that are really starting to, pop up there. So maybe some overshooting tops, a little bit of that counterclockwise spin. And that direction, again, is going to be going essentially from the west, from the east to the west, right just to the south of the islands there. I was looking at some cameras. I mean, look at this. Can we all just say, oh, wow. The surf is actually a little bit less than I anticipated it being right now if you're looking here at the South Shore. So this is Honolulu. That's Diamond Head in the backdrop. Very little wave. I mean, very, very little wave action. In fact, I don't even see any surfers out here. Typically, you'll at least get waves out on this reef outside the island, or outside the shore on the island. But that's probably one of the calmer days I've seen on Waikiki Beach. Pretty amazing stuff. But anyway, so that's what we're tracking. Let me show you again the latest on that. Let's go back to the Hurricane Center. So when it's just south there, tropical storm, it is forecast to be 52 miles per hour. Hurricanes when you get up to 74 or greater. So yeah, it's not forecast to be a very strong storm, but it is moving that direction. So I'm sure everybody in Hawaii is going, watching it closely, right? So then this is August 24th at 2 o'clock in the morning. That is a Monday morning, 46 miles per hour. Now it's south of basically Kauai and Ni'ihau by hundreds of miles, 46 miles per hour. Then it's going to be out of there. But here we go. Here's the storm system that we had last weekend, Lala. It still has a 92 mile per hour wind. That is a Category 1 hurricane. And so it's remaining a 1-1-1-1-1 until we get up here where it's moving up into the North Pacific, where by Sunday it is forecast to be a tropical storm with 69 mile per hour winds. But yeah, that's what's going on. Then we go out over here. Look at this, typhoon. And a typhoon and a hurricane, same thing, just where it's located. If it's out in the Western Pacific, it's called a typhoon. This is Typhoon Sadel. 98 mile per hour wind there. And this is forecast. Look at this. It's eventually going to make its way over toward the islands here. That is, let's see, the 25th. That is Tuesday, heading toward Japan. There's Tokyo just south of that. Shanghai heading toward China. A couple of other systems out here in the tropics off Central America. This one in the orange, this one that's what? That is a 50% chance of development. One in the yellow is a Disturbance number 3, it's a 20% chance, but the red one here we'll keep an eye on. That has an 80% chance over the next 7 days of becoming a hurricane there. So certainly bears watching, no doubt about it. All right. Let's go over to the Atlantic. What's going on in the Atlantic? Well, we got this system that's just kind of out there. That's Bermuda right there. So it's not anywhere near Bermuda, but what it's doing is it has a 20% chance of becoming a disturbance, and this one off the coast of Africa has a 20%. So a little eerily quiet in the Atlantic for this time of year. You know, we're less than a month away from peak hurricane season, and really nothing to speak of. Okay, well, what about our country? What do we have going on? Let me show you what the forecast is in terms of the severe weather. So here's tonight. We do have an area here through parts of Nebraska and Kansas that has the level 2 slight risk. And then back over to Chicago, where it's just been rocking this year. For Illinois, this whole area in terms of tornadoes. The risk tonight is tornadoes. It's a low risk, but it's there. Wind is the greatest risk. Got some very strong winds here with impacts out into the west, and hail as well. Let's take a look at the radar and see what's going on. There's actually a tornado warning out over here. Tornado warning at the moment. And this is just south of Scottsbluff. Severe thunderstorm warning as well. Let's put the radar on. Let's look at the velocity. Oh yeah, look at this. Right where you have these bright colors right in there. Looks like Road 42, Road 77. Pretty amazing. You have the radar. You got the winds going away, so you basically have this counterclockwise spin like this right here. And see that over, yeah, that's not a good situation. Actually, it looks like it has a little bit of a hook on it too. It's kind of interesting to watch. This whole area, big discussion. We're talking about tornadoes, EF1s, wind 65 to 80, hail 2 to 3 inch hail. Remarkable. Yeah, that's a big storm right there. Let's go take a look over here. What do we got going on in Chicago? Oh, look at this line of storms pushing through there. Some rotation. Got a flash flood warning on that one. What are they saying here? National Weather Service. This is between 3 and 4 inches of rain has fallen in this part of the country. And then down in New Orleans. Look at that system going through Baton Rouge, New Orleans. That's a strong front that's pushing out into the Gulf. All kinds of reports going on there. All right, so that is what's happening right now. In terms of the outlook for the weekend, let's continue on. So tomorrow, we have a couple of areas that may get some thunderstorm activity. We here in the Northeast, we have the general thunderstorms, a non-severe risk. That's all that light shade of green. Then you work over to Ohio, including Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati, all the way back to Pittsburgh, down to southern parts of Kentucky. This is a marginal risk as well. Greatest risk for this one for your day tomorrow is going to be damaging winds. Hail's 5%, tornadoes less than 2%. So that's what we're watching there. We go back to the category. And then there's just kind of some hit and miss areas tomorrow. Nothing that's, glaring, nothing that's really standing out. And then we get into Sunday, and there's a marginal risk north of Philly, from Philly and areas north. That's mainly for the morning as the front rolls through. This goes from New York all the way back to sections, basically sliver of Maine. And then you go back here to parts of Montana and into the upper plains, and there's a couple of areas that have it as well. But when we look at the overall picture, it's pretty quiet this weekend, relatively speaking, which of course is great. I do want to show you too, temperature-wise. I was looking at this a little bit earlier. Let's go to this, let's go to surface, let's go to temperature, and let's show you, this is, now let's scan ahead. Let this load on up. So we get into our day. Look, we start out with lows. The story temperature-wise is going to be heat down in the south right here. So this is just the temperature. This is tomorrow afternoon, 4 or 5 o'clock. I mean, we got 109 Oklahoma City, 110 Shreveport, 106 Dallas. I mean, widespread, basically the entire state of Texas. Temperatures in the triple digits. Same things with Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and areas up in through Kansas. But relatively calm and quiet in the Northeast. Look, Philly, 77. New York 76, that's way below normal. Then let's go to Sunday. A little bit warmer, but still only about 80 degrees. Sunday, same place down here in Texas. That's where you have the very hot conditions. But once again, this is Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock. No place standing out. Even Phoenix. Let's take Phoenix to peak heating of the day. 110? All right, 110 is hot, yes, but it's middle of August. I bet the average high in Phoenix for today's date is, what, 105 maybe? Let's go to NWS Phoenix. Let's see. We're just going to look at today, for example. My guess is 105. Let's see where I'm at. Phoenix for today. Normal high is 105. How about that? 105. The high today was 112. But like, for example, the record is 114. So 110 is hot, but it's not most likely a record. Well, let's see. The record for tomorrow is 113. It was close, but it's not crazy for Phoenix. But elsewhere, it's fairly quiet. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Quick look at your weekend. Last but not least, if we put on the preset models, let's just do it across the country. And we're going to start here. That's Sunday. Let me back it up. Let's back it all the way up and let it load up. I can show you Sunday. Here's Sunday. A few early storms in the northeast. And this is our day Sunday. Not a lot to talk about. Some storms popping up here in the Four Corners region. A little cluster right here through parts of Arkansas, Missouri. Let's back it up. Let's go to Saturday. So here's tomorrow. Tomorrow, the weather story here is Delaware, New Jersey, New York, PA. I mean, that system kind of pushing up, and then we get some more storms. That's kind of it right here that we're looking at. The rest of the country is quiet. So a fairly quiet weekend around the country. We'll continue to keep our eyes on that tropical storm out in the Pacific, and we'll let you know if there are any storms that we see popping up. But that's what I'm seeing here on this Friday night. It was a quick 10-minute update.